Boys don't cry. Gotta be a real man. Your emotions are basically constantly being invalidated, so you brush them down and they basically just turn into like resentment and anger. A lot of the manosphere, a lot of like the red pill is just like exploiting that, being like, oh, it's feminism. There are a lot of aspects that kind of suck when you're a guy. Like, obviously, there are a lot of bonuses, especially if you're like a rich, you know, white, cis, straight dude. You can get away with a lot more and people are not going to like question you as much as they question and challenge your female co-workers, for example. But there are a lot of aspects where it just sucks to be a guy. Like I mentioned in the video about like how society neglects men. So I made like a tweet being like, honest question, are men okay? Do you have like a support system around you? Do people check in with you? I know what it was like for me to basically be left alone, because like the society pushes the idea that like if you're a guy you basically have to do everything on your own. Nobody will care about, you know, your feelings and stuff, because, you know, you're a guy, you're a man, you're supposed to be tough, you're supposed to be the provider, you're supposed to be strong. And then people are also kind of undermining like the struggles of men when it comes to like being abused. You know, if a guy gets like sexually harassed and abused or something, people are making fun of him, and that sucks. Obviously there's a lot of like invalidation going on when it comes to women. It's the same problem in of itself, like just like siding with the abusers, but like depending on if you're a guy or a girl, it just like makes people target you differently. If you're a guy getting abused, then it's like you're probably gay anyway, you probably liked it, which is, you know, to be fair, also something that they say about women. When women abuse men, then it's like women can't do that because they're inferior, so women don't have that power over you. You can't get a as a man by a woman because you are still the one who has to put it in there. There are a lot of things in society where it doesn't necessarily matter who you are, you're still going to get like treated like shit, and depending on if you're a man or a woman, you're just going to get treated like shit differently. I think this has to be better addressed in society, I'm not gonna lie. I think this mindset of like, oh, let boys be boys, and if a boy starts crying, then tell them to man up because boys don't cry. Gotta be a real man. I think if you're a young man, if you're a boy and you're growing up like that, your emotions are basically constantly being invalidated, so you brush them down and they basically just turn into like resentment and anger. You know, anytime you wanted to do something that is like, actually, this is for girls, you're not allowed to do that, you start like resenting women for that. So like a lot of the manosphere, a lot of like the red pill is just like exploiting that, being like society neglects you, which is true to some extent. And then it's also like being pushed further, being like, oh, it's feminism. Feminism is doing that to you. Feminism is the reason why you can't have a girlfriend. You can't just talk to women as friends. You have to have a girlfriend. And they don't want nice guys anymore. You open the door. You have the door open. You ask the girl out, and then she didn't even want to sleep with you. And it's just like pushing the idea of like expecting women to fix the problems when it comes to men, while also telling them how to not actually ever be able to date a woman in order to like exploit the male loneliness further. It's just like, oh, well, you can't get girls because like getting girls is like so difficult these days because of like feminism, and they all have like careers and like high expectations. Go buy my course where I teach you how to treat them like objects and put them in their place. Tell them how to submit, because that is what the real women actually want. They've been brainwashed by feminism to believe that they actually, you know, shit like that. And imagine that it's like your feet and you're not being offered a proper alternative. Of course, a lot of young men are drifting further and further into like this red pill or black pill sphere, you know? It just like drives this wedge between everyone and pushes everyone further and further away. Then there's like this lie being pushed of like, oh, women lie all the time, women are all the same, women are gold diggers. Like I got comments of people on that video being like, yeah, women talk about feminism and so on, and then they still turn around and expect diamond ring. Just this weird generalizing that is like going on based on like stereotypes that they hear from their weird little echo chamber. And like the alternative is just not being pushed. Like obviously in their environment, in their friend circle, they experience like the repercussions of like this mindset of like women are inferior and they are property of men, and feminism brainwashed into believing that they are anything other, and that is why you are suffering. And it's like, no, like you don't have proper friendships because you know, you're being taught from a young age that like boys don't have feelings. Boys don't talk about their feelings. They handle everything on their own. Be a real man and handle everything on your own. Never understand how the people who think feminism is anti-men and then say like how men should only open up to their girlfriends and not their friends. It's because this idea is being pushed of like, if you want to be complete as a guy and talk about these things and like actually have like an emotional connection, even though they don't want you to have like an emotional connection because emotional connections are gay, you need a woman, you need a girlfriend, you need a wife, you need someone that you can like command around and someone who's just there for you. Feeling entitled for just women to like fix your life, be your therapist, your mom, cook for you, do your laundry. That is like the idea that these people are pushing. So obviously a lot of people resent those who have that mindset, who have been indoctrinated by this, and they don't want to date like the conservative man who wants a traditional family, you know? A lot of women don't want to be a guy's mother. You can find women who want to be your mommy. It's not the norm. It's not like every woman is just like naturally inclined to be your mommy. That's just not happening. I'm sorry, it's not happening. Men strong, also men need a mommy to look after them. Real. Being queer and having friends as such made me entirely avoid this as a man. Exactly. Like that's just like the thing. But like if you are a guy and you are like surrounded by like the manly man and these are like your guy friends, if you're going to like start opening up or like just checking in or something and you just want to like talk about stuff going on, then you're being labeled like weak, gay, like a woman. Back then I literally had my guy friends. I like reached out and was like, hey, you know, like feel kind of, you know, feels kind of like that I'm always there for you but you're never there for me. And then I literally got the message back, why do you always act like a girl? I mean, it makes sense as a trans woman, but also this is just like highlighting the misogyny that is like going on. It's like, hey, you feel used by your surrounding. You don't have like actual people who are there for you, and then you're just like being invalidated of like, hey, men don't act like this. This is what men act like. If you want to be a man, you have to act like this. I get that like people are really frustrated when they hear the words like male privilege because they don't necessarily understand what it like refers to. And it's also like, if you talk about male privilege, I think you also need to like bring up the downsides, like the problems with like with mental health. And I just wish it was normal for guys to not rely on a girlfriend, not rely on a girlfriend to like fix their issues or make them feel whole. There needs to be like a lot of like work on yourself, but like going to therapy is weak, and a lot of the times there are also like not proper like systems in order to properly address like the struggles that you face. My guy friends are always so hesitant to talk about themselves, so I feel bad when I go on a tirade about myself and they don't say anything. That's how I feel too. You have to understand, you know, if you're dating a guy and he's just listening to your problems, but he doesn't share, it's so fucking frustrating for me.
She's a fucking bitch. Sorry, they're a bitch.
Everybody hates that